So hey guys, welcome to part 4. I know it's a long video, but you know what? 10 years is a long time, so we got to talk about this for a long time. So for 2009, you guys, I have Where the Wild Things Are as my favorite film for that year, and Seth and Josh actually both had Avatar for that year, which is also one of the highest-grossing films of all time, also. So Seth, why don't you start with Avatar for us?
Yeah, that's an easy one for me. Avatar was great. It was James Cameron's return to cinema ever since he directed Titanic in '99, I believe it was. Correct me. Oh, maybe it was '97.
He did direct some documentaries, but this was like his first feature since Titanic, I think.
Yeah, and I kind of always loved James Cameron. From Terminator 2 to Titanic to the new film that was released in 2009, Avatar, and it was a simple concept. It was just kind of thinking of the new how I want to say it's like I'm trying to think how to put this.
You basically just share like why you really like the film.
Well, no. I guess I'm drawing a blank, but right now. But anyways, I thought it was a simple concept. The idea that taking the land that we live on right now, how we, you're stealing the land like of the Indians and making it trying to make it your own, and it was just it took that concept and obviously created these characters. There's these very in-depth characters with so much emotion, and I remember watching this film for the first time, and it was very gripping. It was very
Did you
emotional.
see it in 3D? I actually saw it in 3D.
I did not see it in 3D.
Oh man,
but
the jellyfish scene with all the remember that with the jellyfish thing.
It's funny because
I did not see it in 3D, but okay. I heard it was good in 3D.
Okay, but like you've seen the movie though.
Yes.
Remember like those jellyfish flowers flying around in the forest?
Yeah.
When you watch that film in 3D, oh my god, those things look like you're like in the room with these flowers.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah, for me, I've never I didn't even see it. Actually, it's funny because I never saw Avatar in theaters. I just watched it. I think like once it was released on DVD. But I remember watching it, and I think that was probably the reason why I didn't watch it in theaters, because I was skeptical at first. I'm like, it's just another.
Well, also when I saw it in theaters, the theater was packed. I mean, my friends and I, we had a hard time finding seats, and like every kind of like when you and I saw Avengers, every seat was taken, and it was like everybody was like. It was kind of cool, like when that movie came out. Like since we saw it in 3D, we even heard people online like, "Oh wow, that looks so cool in 3D" and all that kind of stuff too. So it was kind of interesting hearing kind of the commentary of what people really liked about the movie.
I think with this film, I don't think a lot of people knew what to expect. In regards to
it was marketed everywhere. I mean, it's the highest grossing film. So,
but anyways, they marketed wonderfully.
Yeah, they were marketing it. I think the year before.
I think probably what more intrigued more people was actually the idea of the visuals. And I know our Avatar was actually the first movie to have these. It was a breakthrough in cinematography and visuals, like technology they were able to do.
I think it's the first film also where almost the entire film is filmed in a CGI room. Because I don't think they filmed any of it in. They got the idea, like they actually went out to forest to see what they look like, but as far as filming it, they actually filmed like almost the entire thing in a green screen room. So, and then my favorite film of the year, of 2009, was Where the Wild Things Are. Thought it was great. Thought it was great storyline, great visuals, very creative. I was a huge fan of the book as a kid. I'm a huge fan of Maurice Sendak. And I thought Spike Jonze is also one of my favorite directors working today. I thought he managed to tell the story of Where the Wild Things Are while also having his own unique vision of it. And what was kind of cool about that movie was not only did it kind of capture how a kid thinks in a world like that, it also was able to kind of like what the film Up did for Pixar. It invited kids to a more mature story, and I thought that the film really accomplished that very well. Have you guys seen Where the Wild Things Are?
No, I didn't. I read the book.
Okay. No, I heard it was really good though.
Yeah, if you love the book, you love the movie. It's really well done. Mm-hmm. And Josh, your favorite film was Avatar. Also, do you want to talk about Avatar?
Yeah. I saw it with Seth on his computer.
I saw it on your computer.
Okay.
I thought you like watched it over there on your TV.
No.
I saw it on the computer. Anyway, I thought the movie was really cool. Like the visual effects were awesome. Like the forest.
Yeah, the storytelling,
Good,
the
great.
compelling characters.
Yeah,
the
everything
visuals,
was
everything was just
wonderful.
In place.
Okay. And then our favorite films of 2010, you guys, is I had Black Swan, Seth had Inception, and Josh had Harry Potter 7 Part 1. So Seth, why don't you start us off with Inception?
You know, it's funny. The thing with Inception is, I know, well, of course, Christopher Nolan would direct the film, but the idea of having Leonardo DiCaprio as the lead role, and I remember growing up.
Because one of my first exposures to him was Titanic. So.
Well, actually, no, it's funny because actually my first expo, when I first heard about Leonardo DiCaprio was the remake of Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm. I think that was in the.
And it's funny because I remember always listening to the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, but that was kind of like my first I guess vision of Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was never a big fan of his, but I think when he grew up and did more films, I think he definitely matured.
Mm-hmm. I think Shutter Island was the first film where people started to take him seriously,
and he really came into his own. And I guess I take back what I say because I think even when he first started, he has always been a damn good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Shutter Island was really good too.
What's that?
Yeah, that was that was kind of the first film where he was taken seriously.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, with Inception, I don't want to get off track, but I thought he did a wonderful job as the lead role. Then on top of that, you have a new face, a new actor. I believe he was British, Tom Hardy.
He did some films before Inception, but Inception was kind of his big American release. He did a film with Nicholas Winding Refn from Drive called Bronson, and that was definitely the film where people recognized his acting abilities.
But for me,
Inception was his first big American film.
But for me, I think this is kind of like my first view of Tom Hardy, and I thought he did a wonderful job with Inception. I love the dream sequences. The idea of having different levels of dreams, like level 1, level 2, level 3, and I think if you get to level 4, it's basically you can't come out of it. Or was it level 5?
Well, basically, the film was always referencing this. They always said, the more you go into the dream world, since there's always the dream of a dream of a dream, the further you go in, the harder it is to come out. And Leo DiCaprio was explained throughout the movie that he once was like layer through layer through layer through layer with his wife, and that it was almost impossible to get out. And there's actually some people, and this is kind of where the film is a little bit debatable, some people think that he never got out and that what we were seeing on screen was his way of him imagining to himself that he got out and what it would have been like. So and then there's another debate too is the ending of did he get out or did he not? And I guess one way you can go, I guess from people online that I've read, is if he's wearing the wedding ring. Some people thought that was his what they called that.
Just that piece, or what?
I don't know. You know how like people like someone had like a chess piece and someone had I forgot what they called it. Their tumbler or something like that.
Oh, the spinner.
Yeah. You know how like everybody had their own version.
Right.
I'm sorry. I forgot what it was called in the movie. But basically, that's your way of making sure of knowing if you're in reality or not. But I guess some people claim that his wedding ring was his.
No. I think I know what you're talking about. The idea of like he'd always have that little spinner, the topper.
Yeah.
And like where he'd spin, and if it kept spinning, that you were in the dream. But if you're in reality, if it'd spin for like maybe 20 seconds, and then it would just like it would stop.
But some people think that because how he said never talk about your. Like I said, I forgot what it's called. I can't think of it right now. He said if it's the minute you show it to someone, then it's no longer valuable. And because he's told people about it, he has to make something for himself that isn't something he told someone. So because the wedding ring hasn't been talked about, some people think that was his real, whatever they called it. I forgot what it was called. But so Josh, you had actually I didn't talk about Black Swan yet. My favorite film of the year was Black Swan. Great film. Darren Aronofsky's view was great in it. It was definitely the film that got me more interested in his work. Natalie Portman's performance was excellent. I could see why she won Best Actress. I definitely agree with the Academy's decision on that. Mila Kunis was great, and it was great to see her kind of take on a role that wasn't so comedic, and she definitely nailed it. Vincent Cassell was in this film, and he was great. Winona Ryder was in the film; she was great. Dancing choreography was awesome.
Did you see Winona Ryder?
Yep, she was the Black Swan before Natalie Portman was.
Oh, wasn't she the one that passed?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she die in the film or something?
Yeah,
No,
and
right,
yeah, she was in it. She was great,
Oh.
and just a very well done story. It's kind of like what I always tell people. It's a film that's an experience, and though every film is an experience, Black Swan I think can be its own experience. I mean, not only is it a film, it's an experience that is beyond a film, and I think that's what really made me appreciate that film in 2010. And Josh, your favorite film of that year was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Want to tell us why?
Just the story, like between Harry and Voldemort, and the three, Ron, Hermione, and Harry, the continuation of their story, and then just the climax to the end for the film. So it was good.
And I think it's set up well for Part 2.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first saw that movie, it's like, okay, well, what do they have left for Part 2?
Right.
And I thought they set it up very well. What was kind of cool about 7 and 8 was they're their own stories, and because it's one book, you think, okay, well, how in the world are they going to do that? But then you see Part 2, and like, wow, it is their own stories. I think Part 1 was definitely more of the journey of getting rid of the Horcruxes once and for all, while Part 2 was kind of, the actual finale of Harry versus Voldemort at Hogwarts, and how Hogwarts got involved with the whole thing. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what separates the two. And yeah, it was a great film. Did you like Harry Potter 7?
Yeah, I thought it was good. And one thing I really liked about it was the storytelling, and I would say that of all the Harry Potter films, Part 1, the Deathly Hallows. Are we talking about Part 1?
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Part 1 I think would definitely focus more on the storytelling of the three characters, their abandonment, the idea that the story, because it's funny because every Harry Potter takes place in Hogwarts. This time, it was,
yeah, you're right. That was the only one that didn't take place in
Hogwarts. It just took outside of Hogwarts in the idea of like, how are they going to survive? How are they going to deal with adversity? As a group, as friends, as the watching each other's back, and and getting through those difficult moments. I thought, and I think there was definitely a lot of moments of great action. But for this film, it was great storytelling, and I think you almost you got a little bit more of like who each character really, truly was, and I think in previous films you already had you established the the chemistry between Hermione and what's his name, the orange hair and Ron. So, well, yeah, I thought it was great fun.
So, guys, when we return, which will hopefully be our last part, we're going to talk about our favorite films of 2011 and 2012.